Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now let's shift our focus to Iran, where the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has blamed the United States and Israel for the deadly unrest sweeping the country. Khamenei has alleged that actors linked to Washington and Tel Aviv were behind the violence that left several thousands dead during the weeks of anti-government protests in Iran. He said foreign-backed elements caused massive damage and bloodshed, accusing them of trying to destabilize the Islamic Republic. Amid all this, President Trump has now come out and said, and I quote, "It's time to look for a new leadership in Iran." Let's take a look.
It certainly does seem like he has stepped back. I mean, he was encouraging protesters, keep protesting, try to take over buildings, help is on the way. Nothing showed up.
Yeah, it's tough to tell exactly what happens with Donald Trump. It's often kind of about him wanting to take a win, to be able to announce a win, just as he did in Venezuela, right? It was like, we're going to get rid of this regime. And then what they end up doing is they just get rid of Maduro. They keep the entire regime in place. Right. But that way, Trump can declare he won. Similarly here, it seems like the win he's taking is, I threatened them, and they have now assured me they're not killing anymore. There's no evidence that that's actually true. There was a lot of it, the regime has been pretty repressive. There are reports of thousands of people dead. But in Donald Trump's narrative, he threatened them, they backed down, crisis over.
You know the deposed, the son of the Shah. Do you think he's right that it's not if, but when this regime falls?
No, I think it's going to be, this regime has been in power for a long time. They're dug their heels in. They have guns, money. It's going to be tough, but I think he did a very good job, which is the one thing that the Iranian opposition has not had, is a kind of agenda, like what is it we want? And what he did is very systematically lay out, this is what I see as the timetable, this is what I see as how we would get a transition to democracy, and here's the kind of Iran we are going to try to unify around: an end to clerical rule, separation of church and state, end of a war against America and Israel, guarantees of individual rights, a return of private sector and free market activity. Very sensible agenda, very smart of him to do that. But remember, he's been out of the country for 35 years, and it's not clear how much traction he has on the ground. But I think he did exactly what he should have done, and as he's always done, present himself more as a facilitator of a move to democracy. But look, you often need more than that. You need the opposition on the ground to be more organized. You need the regime to crack. Often you need to see divisions within the elites.
I mean, the fact that if the internet shut down, people can't communicate with each other. If communications are being monitored, I mean, they have a very effective, secret service and repressive apparatus built into the state.
I mean, one of the things the United States could do is try to restore internet service through Starlink and things like that. Because, remember the Arab Spring, Anderson, when we were all covering it, one of the things that helped all those protesters coordinate activities, figure out where to go, was social media, internet, cell phone. That's all been shut off in Iran.
What do you make of Israel's position here? By all reports, the Prime Minister Netanyahu sort of talked to the U.S., asked them not to do anything.
I have a feeling that everyone realizes that this is a very high stakes enterprise at this point. If you're really going to try and figure out how you get rid of a regime, how do you make sure the most likely scenario is, frankly, that the clerical regime falls, but the military dictatorship stays in place.
Right. So would that be the Revolutionary Guard?
The Revolutionary Guards. They're the guys with the guns and the money, because 25 years of sanctions, 30 years of sanctions, the Revolutionary Guard now runs mostly, they run the smuggling, they run the black market, they run in a lot of the legitimate enterprises. So they've got the guns, they've got the money. They'll push aside, just like in Venezuela, they'll say, oh yeah, we've had regime change. They'll push aside some of those people. So, or it could descend into chaos. Look at Syria. So I think anyone who's close enough to the region and might suffer the consequences knows, look, let's make sure we have a plan. Let's make sure that there is an actual path forward.
Now with that, it's a wrap for now, but news and updates continue on CNN. Stay tuned.